Welcome to another episode of the Clarinet Couch Coach. Today I will be discussing clarinet embouchure. If you are not a experienced musician or you're new to the world of music, the word embouchure might be unfamiliar to you. It is simply the shape of your mouth and the way that your mouth and teeth and lips and all your tongue and everything work together to form the proper shape to play your instrument. Clarinet is really one of the harder embouchures to get correct, partially because you can play nicely and have some good sounds and have a lot of notes that you can play well without having the correct embouchure. This is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because this allows a lot of students to start out on an instrument when they may not have the skills to get the embouchure correctly, but it's a bad thing because a lot of students will think that they don't need help or that they're just fine when they're not playing correctly. Clarinet embouchure, the basic part of it is that your teeth go on the top of the mouthpiece and your bottom lip folds underneath or over your lip, over your teeth to go on the bottom of the reed. So fold it under, teeth on top, okay? That's the basic embouchure. That's the first thing you start out with. The correct embouchure, in addition to that, has to do with the way your mouth is shaped and the way your chin is shaped. The corners of my mouth go in and then I go under. Okay, your jaw comes out a little bit. It's almost like when you put on chapstick. Okay, corners in, bottom jaw comes out a little bit. Like so. Your chin will be flat, not bunchy. It looks a little bit different for everybody, but when I play correctly, I get little lines on my chin. When I play incorrectly, my chin just looks dimply and like bumpy. Okay, incorrect, correct. One of the ways that you can think of to help you feel the correct embouchure, there is kind of a sweet spot on the reed where you can kind of feel where your lip will naturally fit there. A way that you can kind of see where your bottom lip should go is by taking a piece of paper, putting it carefully between the reed and the mouthpiece, and seeing where the paper naturally stops on the reed. You can even mark it in pencil. It won't hurt the reed if you lightly mark in pencil. But that is approximately where your bottom lip should go. When you're playing the clarinet, to get the proper embouchure, it helps to slide your lip down a little bit more so that more reed is in your mouth, so that more reed can vibrate, and the more vibration you have, the better sound you have. So I could go like this, and move it down like that. This is incorrect. That's correct. Okay, you don't want to have too much mouthpiece in there, but also not too little. So again, EU, flat, corners in. Corners need to be in to give equal pressure on the sides of the reed, but not direct pressure on the reed face itself, and that will prevent some of the squeaking, which your parents will be glad to hear. When you are listening to a clarinetist with good embouchure, you probably don't realize it, but you probably think, hey, that sounds really good. So here's what it sounds like when you're not playing with good embouchure. Here's correct embouchure. And I'm not even using the best reed or a reed that is really broken in properly. It's kind of newish. And it still sounded better when I had the correct embouchure. At least I think it did. I'm sure you can hear it. If you are playing and your embouchure and things are not sounding good, always double check your reed, because if it slips because it wasn't put on correctly, that could also be a problem. So the way to develop an embouchure, it's hard because it does take a while and your face will get tired. It does hurt. You are developing new muscles, just like any other muscle. When you're learning how to swim or play basketball or whatever, your face is developing new muscles. So what I like to do is I call it 3/8. For 8 beats, you hold the instrument in your mouth just with the proper embouchure. For the next 8 beats, you just blow air, and then the next 8 beats, you blow open G. And I have a lot of students do that. So I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like. Ready? And hold. And that's it. And I would have my students do that several times before we start a lesson to develop the embouchure and look in a mirror. I usually keep a small mirror in my clarinet stuff so that I can make sure that my students know what they're supposed to look like so that they can learn correctly and they can learn what it feels like as well. If you're practicing and you get to a point where you can't hold the correct embouchure, just take a break. There's no point in developing an incorrect embouchure because your lips are getting tired because you've been practicing for a while. Take a break, come back. That in itself can be a good developmental practice because your brain remembers things better when you have more repetitions rather than longer practice times. So 2 20-minute sessions might be better than 1 40-minute session, or 2 30-minute sessions are better than an hour session by itself, depending upon your dedication level, your embouchure level, and how long you've been playing. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the embouchure is concerned. The other important thing besides your face really is your tongue. Your tongue does have some importance. You want to have a high tongue and say T instead of ta. So right now, sitting at your computer, say T and then ta. T keeps the tongue nice and high, and it's just like when you put your thumb over the hose in your garden, it makes the water come out faster. The high tongue, you're just really just raising it up, makes the air come out faster and makes the tone better. Your band director in middle school, unless they're a clarinet player, will probably tell you ta. Just do T. It's the same idea. It's the same thing. You're not going to do anything wrong, and it's going to sound better, and he's going to be so surprised that you're in tune. So the difference between T and ta, here's ta. Embouchure was correct, but tongue was low. Here's the tongue high. Low. High. And then when you get older and you're playing a little bit higher notes, you can use your shape of your tongue to manipulate the notes and tune them. That's mostly tongue motion, and that changes the notes. It's called pitch bending, and that helps you keep in tune because you might be a little bit out of tune. And if you're playing jazz music, you can use pitch bending in some pieces, especially famous pieces by Benny Goodman, Pete Fountain, any other famous clarinet person who's played clarinet in jazz, especially in the big band era. That's pretty much it for embouchure. There's nothing else on hand that I can think of. If there's anything that you have a question about, something that you've heard that you're not sure if it's correct or not, or would like a different opinion on, please feel free to comment below, and I will answer as soon as possible. Do remember that in a lot of areas there is more than one way to do a thing. Some things there is not more than one way to do a thing. This is one of them. Your embouchure needs to be correct. Your tongue needs to be high, and I never heard of anything differently that would achieve the same result and the same sound. This is based on years of experience and training and studying with multiple professors who have all taught the same thing. So I hope you have enjoyed the embouchure. Now go practice, go in front of a mirror and practice the 3/8 and just check it out, see if you've got it right.